Stacy with Bewitched Crafts. Welcome back to the 12 Cards of Christmas. Again, today we're starting with a white daisy card base. It measures 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to cover part of that card base with some of our wood grain paper. I've cut it down. It is 2 3/4 inches by 5.5, and I'm using it here on the card front, and I'm going to use it kind of to create a line. I'm going to do some stamping right on the pattern paper. I'm also using today our new Yuletide Borders Thin Cuts dies. I'm going to be using both this border piece here and the lights. The lights have 2 separate pieces, so you'll cut the strand here and then fill in the colors using the individual bulb to do your cutting. I'll show you in just a moment. The first thing I've done is cut a piece of candy apple with this border, and I'm going to apply that at the bottom of the card, and I'm going to leave a slight white edge at both the top and the bottom. I want this white showing through. I don't want the wood grain to show through this die cut. So we're going to start. I'm going to use my grid here to help me line things up. My tape runner, and apply some adhesive to the back of the wood grain cardstock. I'm going to get this nice and straight. Line everything up. Press it down. Now for the die, I think it's better to use glue when you have so many open spaces. So I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue on the back. And I'm going to line that up with this line here on the cardstock, or rather the pattern paper, so that I stay straight. And that's going to give me that nice white border. I want a crisp white border at the top and bottom of this card. Now we're going to cut a border across the top with Christmas lights. So it's that same Thin Cuts Yuletide border set. I've cut the strand out of black. You could also use a dark green like New England ivy. And then I've used some scrap paper to cut the individual bulbs. So I've got more of the candy apple, and I've got New England ivy, and I've just put them on with a little bit of liquid adhesive. I'm going to add that to our card front next. I love how you can set it up to be the color bulb that you find works best with your project this way. So my reds are going to match exactly because they're both candy apple. So there we have that. And now I want to do some stamping. I'm using our Jolly Characters stamp set and intense black ink. And I'm going to put some reindeer on our card. So I've applied the reindeer stamp to my acrylics block. I'm just going to ink that up. And now I've got a line to follow that's built right into our pattern paper. So I'm just going to line up Rudolph here. Let's put that down. I'm going to switch out my stamp and add a sentiment. This one also comes from Jolly Characters, and it says, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." I think to get that to stamp best, I'm going to go ahead and use my foam mat. Came with the carrier sheet on this. I'm going to ink it up in black. going to put it right next to Rudolph. And I'm going to swap back and add a few more reindeer to that line. Kind of reminds me of that song, you know, the beginning of the Rudolph song where they're naming off all the reindeer? You know, Comet and Dancer and Donner and Blitzen. I think a few of them go on the card with them. Say add maybe 3 more. There we go. We wish you a Merry Christmas from Rudolph and the Reindeer Gang. Thanks for joining me for today's 12 Cards of Christmas series. Come back tomorrow to see what's next.